are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you think about when you heard about the Chris Darden factor, when you heard about this guy being represented, I know you were around for the O.J. Simpson, case. Did that kind of like, was, I don't want to use that word, but was that more disrespectful, to you and people in LA? Could you speak on that factor?
Absolutely, it was disrespectful to see Christopher Darden representing that piece of shit. You see what I'm saying? And so I talked to Tariq Nasheed about it last night, and he had the same sentiment. It's ridiculous. It's basically like them saying, nanny. That's what it's like. It's like some kid shit, man. It's like, here we go. We're going to do this. We're going to see what you're doing that, what you're going to do now, and so, and regardless to what's going on, it just has to be a plan of understanding, going back into a true knowledge of self, because at the end of the day, death is promised to everybody. You can't escape it. We all have a date. It's not something that most of us look forward to, of course, but you have to keep in mind that, killing you and doing certain things, killing this guy wasn't the worst really that could happen to him. His family misses him, and it's unfortunate how it happened, but he's stronger than ever because the energy still exists. There's no such thing as death as we know it. You're just free from the prison of the body. He is now free, and his energy and everything he represented is there for us to pay attention to, the same as all of our ancestors that passed before us, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. So if you think we feel this way about Nipsey Hussle, imagine how our people felt back in the day when people like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X and all these great people died as well. It's a horrible thing, man. It's horrible, man. I did not like seeing that at all. That troubled my soul. Because I know him. I know what he represents. He wasn't a bullshit person, man, at all.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. That happened last Sunday, and God and I, we take the weekend off and we chilling with the family and doing our thing. And we usually vibe or talk from time to time. But when does that happen? We ain't say a word to each other. And we still ain't really talked on it, but I already know internally what we were feeling. And then just day by day, when we had to talk about it, it wasn't easy to do because, like you said, it's a very, very touchy subject. Even if we didn't know the man personally, but we often talked about him, like we talked about on the podcast all week, on how we couldn't wait to talk to get time to have a conversation with the man because we love what he represented, the entrepreneurship, the doing for self, to going out here and to forward your thinking, and just everything that the man represented, we have respect for. And when he did certain interviews, just you can recognize it's real, and you can see that. So we were looking forward to extending our hand and having a conversation with that man, even though we didn't unfortunately have time to do so.
And you felt the energy. You felt that energy, man, whenever you saw his interviews. You definitely have to agree to that. Like, you felt his energy and you knew that he was a stand-up guy because he was a giver, and that's what this life is all about. Whatever date you have and whatever you pass your form, we don't know, because the day Nipsey died, there was a 5-year-old that passed. I'm sure there was 1-year-olds that passed. There were 80-year-olds, and it's like, we don't know when that date will be. But the name of the game is to be a continuous giver. You have to understand that giving is the element that circulates peace, love, unity, and all those beautiful things that we desire to have. First be a giver, give to yourself so you can give to others and circulate peace.
Kenyatta, talk about him staying where he lived and doing business out of there, because there was a lot of conversation on whether or not he should have left and things like that. And we talked about it a lot on here. What's your opinion on that? Still, living where you live and being there and still doing business out of there. Talk on that perspective.
I definitely, initially when he was, first, when they were running the businesses and doing their thing, I thought it was okay. But as far as him, as he started to grow in business and fame, I always had a feeling like, maybe it should be like he should really tread lightly of going over there as much. Because I know the element of jealousy is heavy in all communities, especially impoverished communities, and so whenever you got a guy that is famous and he's doing this thing and somebody comes up to him and asks him to help me get my demo, help me listen to my demo and get me on and help me, and you might deny these people help, I know that can turn into a problem any day, as we all know, because the hood is full of people in the dark. And so when you're around so many people that are truly in the dark, you know, you have to be careful, you know, in a lot of different ways, because these people being jealous of you, they want to hurt you because they're in pain. A lot of people that are in pain want to commit and cause pain to other people. And so I always felt like there should have been a little more protection of him when he was at the store, because there were times I saw him at the store and he really didn't have anybody with him. Like the day I saw him with Lauren London at Simply Wholesome, he was just in the hood chilling, you know, but it's hard to tell somebody that when you grow up in the area, man. Like I'm sure with you guys, you know, you guys grew up in a certain area and you probably still go to a certain liquor store that people got killed in or killed in front of. And it's just normal to you to be in that area. And it was just a normal thing for him to be in that area. But at the same time, I was a little disappointed that it happened the way it did, and he didn't have any of his crew around him to stop the guy, you know. And it was just, and from what I found out is that none of them knew that he was going to be up there that day. He just made a little quick run to his store, like a lot of us would do if we had a business, and he was on his way back home. He wasn't like, you know, it was just like, I'm gonna go up here and look out for my homie, that homeboy that just got out of jail. That's what he was doing. And he didn't make it back. You know, he didn't survive. So, you know, it's just unfortunate, man. But, you know, it's a hard thing. It's a hard pill to swallow, because yes, you definitely want to continue to do business in the hood, but you just got to be careful, man. Like I had a shop, like I said, for over 18 years on Crenshaw. I had a few situations over there, you know, nothing as major as what happened to Nipsey, but you know, it's a certain element when you're in the hood, man. We all can agree to that. It's a certain element.
Definitely. I want to ask you, you know, real quick about there's been several reports that Nipsey Hussle may have feared for his life, you know, days beforehand. Mm-hmm. They said it was like a video shoot down there where, you know, they had to beef up security. What did that stem from? Do you know about that whole situation? Did that have anything tied in with the other situation with Holder, or no?
No, I don't know anything too much about that one, but I know that, you know, I understand like the hood element of it, you know what I'm saying? He was from Rolling 60s. Right. And, you know, Rolling 60s have their own, you know, separate beefs with different gangs and different people. And, you know, it's no telling, man. You know, it's no telling what he was going through days before the situation. I didn't hear much about that. I kind of lightly, but nothing, because he did a video with DJ Khaled. I knew about that. But, you know, it's no telling, man. It's no telling. And it's, you know, right now it's just, it's so many different conspiracy theories and stories about this situation. But more than anything else, I really feel like people should embrace the legacy he left behind and don't allow the distractions of the conspiracy theories pull you into more sorrow and pain. You know, it's really for you to look at the different techniques he used to come up and different things that he did to take care of his family, and apply those to yourself, apply those to your life. Because again, we all have a date. We don't know what that date is, but while you're here on earth, you know, do the best you can with what you have to take care of yourself as well as your family.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Kenyatta, I don't know if the people listening right now heard our various interviews, but in one particular interview, you talked about how you fell victim of a random act of violence, and you fell victim and being shot and was fighting for your life in the middle of the street, and gave us the detailed story. And you see an incident like this with Nipsey, and you heard the testimony from his brother talking how he got shot once and then dude ran off and then came back and shot twice, ran off and then came back. In your honest estimation, was this a random act of violence to you or something more? And just give a little more context to what, in your estimation, you think it was involved. Or was it the fact that he was jealous and enraged? Do you feel like it was something deeper and he was maybe just what you thinking?
I definitely feel like there was more to this. You know, when I saw Vector, I knew he was doing something next level. When I heard about the Dr. Sebi's documentary being developed, I was like, wow, this guy's going deep. All the businesses within the hood, he had just bought a fish restaurant next door to the Marathon store. It was like, it was a fish restaurant back in the day called Sloss and Fish, but now it's called Babalu's. He was opening that up. He had the barbershop. You know, he was loading up on different businesses around the community. And then he was supposed to meet with the LAPD Monday at the day after he got shot, which let me know even more. Definitely it was a deeper situation because this guy was trying to make a difference. And he was trying to make a difference based on waking people up to the reality that we need unity within the community. And so for us to unify for the others, that's a dangerous game, because then it becomes hard for them to manipulate us and pull us into destruction of killing ourselves. And so they have to keep us separate in order to control us, especially in a place like Los Angeles, where there's so many gangs and so many different territories and so many different beefs over old past situations from the 80s and sometimes the 70s from certain gangs, like between Hoover and 60s. So I've always heard stories of cops planting guns and killing certain people from rival hoods and saying it's somebody from another hood that's rival to them. So this is not something that I look at as being a random act. I look at this as definitely being orchestrated by some unseen hands, most definitely.
Right. I was trying to make people aware of a little bit earlier in the stream that I did of counterintelligence program that they had, that the people, they broke into the office in I think it was 71, and they found these documents that showed that the government, actually had, agents and stuff that they sent out, to disrupt what they thought was political organizations. Now, what were these organizations? They were doing some of the things that Nipsey, was doing, as far as the enlightenment part and trying to, get people to think a certain way. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that these programs still exist and something like that happened. I don't want to take that off the table. Could you speak on that a little bit?
Oh yeah, these things still exist. Do they exist? They're more technical now than they've ever been. They're more covert than they've ever been. You're talking about if they did this to Malcolm X, they did this. I mean, we could just name it, man. You can go through history and name all these different people that had just died because they were trying to wake people up or help people, especially black men and black women. Boy, man, if you could think, if they were doing that back then, imagine what they're doing now with all this eye in the sky stuff and all these cameras and remote control. Nanotechnology is at an all-time high more than ever now. They send these little flies and these bugs with cameras on them, and it's different things. These are real things, and this is a real politic that goes on. And here again, if someone is an informant, they automatically work for the feds. The feds is the government. So if you work for the feds, they use these people to go into the black community to commit black on black crime. So you won't look any further and you'll just say, oh, this is just another black man killing another black man. They had beef because it's been perpetrated so many times over and over again within the black community, with black people killing other black people, that we're so used to it, to where that was the first thing that came into our minds when we heard that, oh, they were arguing, oh, they were doing this. They can say all that stuff because they know that we'll shut it down and we won't look any further. But if you do your research and you begin to do the math on what has happened in the past with people that didn't do as much as what Nipsey's been doing in the hood. Like, I literally seen this guy go from zero to where he was at right before he passed. And I just, man, my heart broke because I know his father. His father is a great guy. What I'm saying? He's from Africa. His brother Black Sam is a good dude. I mean, he's just stand-up guys, man. Like this, like to meet them, like off the record, off the stage. Oh man, you would love them. They're just great people. And Nipsey is from that cloth. You see what I'm saying? He didn't have his father not helping them and not being around. You know what I'm saying? This guy had a real relationship with his parents, and he was loved and he loved them. And you can see it when he was around. These guys really, they held him up. They were proud to talk about their brother, or he was proud to talk about his son. And, and when he came in, it was love. It was hugs. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of hugs, kisses. It was like they loved Nipsey and Nipsey loved them. That's what I did witness. I witnessed that on many occasions.
Kenyatta, in your estimation, when's the last time you've seen the city of Los Angeles hurt the way it is right now and shook by an incident the way it is right now regarding Nipsey? And what's next for the city? What's next moving forward? Because obviously we're going to put the man to rest. We're going to bury, and then we have to move forward. After the morning, we have to move forward. So what's next for the city? And when's the last time, first and foremost, did you see the city affected amidst a tragedy like this one?
You know, I would say like the Biggie and Tupac incident, really Tupac, but that was a little different because, you know, in a strange way, playing devil's advocate, everyone kind of expected Tupac to go through something because, you know, he was so vocal and he had a lot of beefs and he had a lot of situations going on. The last time I really felt it as somber as it is right now is right before the LA riots hit. You know, when they were going through the system, you know, with the guys seeing if they were going to get off or not. And when that happened, that feeling feels almost like this right now. Like people in LA, it's like the spirit is down right now with Black people in Los Angeles. The spirit is down. Like we feel like a lot of people are confused. They don't know what's going on. They don't feel safe. There's a lot of fear pumping through people's hearts. And that's why, you know, the main thing that, you know, the element that I want to push and promote is that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, once you understand that you make it's like in death, it's easy to say, but it's hard for a lot of people to digest, is that he's stronger now than he ever was because now they have made him and turned him into a martyr. You know what I'm saying? The guy that did that made us take a heavier look at Nipsey. People that didn't have all his music bought more of his music. They're watching more of his interviews now. People that hear him talk about Dr. Sabies are taking a look at Dr. Sabies a little different, you know, and it's totally disgusting, man. But the last time was LA riots, I would say, you know, the feeling I'm feeling right now and just around the way, because even with the gang truce, the LA riots brought that on through Khalid Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's moving forward now, brother? And when you how do you move forward in Los Angeles in particular, given this tragic loss?
Man, the way you move forward from a situation like this is continue to stay conscious, continue to, you know, get into your element, you know, become selfish in your approach to bettering yourself. Look at everything he's left behind, everything that he's experienced. And actually, you know, as far as business and doing certain things, you know, you can, if you're about business, pattern yourself after what he's done in business, and you'll come up as well.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.